woman who's been in business for the past 30 years. Moves and Motions is owned by Jodi Fera, who lives in Manhasset. She is my guest on From the Source. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So tell me, you had started your business in 1987, and it was probably the only dance studio in Manhasset. Why did you start it?
Well, we actually opened in 1987 in Queens,
Okay.
and we opened our second location. We have 3 locations. We opened our second location in Manhasset in 1997.
Oh, 97. Okay.
Yeah, so 10 years later, we were open here. And then I believe in 2007, we opened our third location. So it's sort of every 10 years.
So your background, is it in dance?
Yeah.
What were you a professional dancer?
Danced my whole life, then went to college for dance, and then I went the business owner route. I did not like the professional performancing, so I decided that I wanted to teach. I loved working with kids. That was really my passion and what I wanted to do most. And so I started there, and it definitely took off.
Absolutely did. I know that my own daughter was part of this group and she loved it. She loved it.
Oh, thank you.
Now your location is the same that you opened in 1997, which is right by the train station.
Correct. We opened there in 97 and there we still are.
So at that time, I know that you had a wide variety of classes. Are your classes still targeted just towards youth, or has it expanded?
We've always had a large variety of classes that we offer and had always opened our doors to children through adults. We tend to sort of drop off in our adult programs in all 3 of our locations. I think once gyms really became much more popular with classes and even dance classes happening in a lot of the gyms, we saw a decline in the adult population. But we often will get a group of adults who will sort of put their own little pod together. And every now and then we'll offer a mini master, which is just a shorter season for adults, 6 or 8 week programs. But our biggest age group are the 2-year-olds through 18.
Okay. And I know some of your students come back to even teach. Is that correct?
Yes. A lot of homegrown teachers, a lot of second generation students at this point, where I feel like the dance grandma. I have my students' children now back at the studio. And a lot of my teachers have gone on to become elementary school teachers. So their passion for dance never left. So they do this on the side. So if my teachers, most have a bachelor's degree in dance education, and if not dance education, a BA for BFA, Fine and Performing Arts, or they are school teachers who have grown up in the studio and are now teaching on the side.
That's amazing. And I think your daughter is also a dancer, isn't she?
Yeah, I have 2 daughters that dance. One went to NYU and she graduated, and she dances professionally for the Knicks.
Wow.
So pause right now. And she's done some other work here and there for Disney and a few other things. And then my other daughter is a dance major at Marymount College, and she is graduating this May.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Hopefully it will be in person.
Hopefully it will be in person.
So at the beginning of this pandemic, they were saying that children were not impacted by the coronavirus, and they certainly weren't able to get it. That obviously has changed. When did you stop doing in-person classes?
So we actually decided that we were going to shut down before we were legally shut down. We decided, we saw it coming, and I am part of a bigger association, and I collaborate with dance studio owners from all over the world. And so we saw what was going on overseas, and we knew it was getting closer. So to prepare ourselves, we decided to shut down. So we shut down in the beginning of March
Okay.
for 2 weeks, and we decided to make that our spring break, which gave us enough time to prepare for what we felt was ahead. And so we were completely able to pivot the entire studio online. And then during those 2 weeks, we gave some pop-up bonus online Zoom classes, complimentary, just to test the waters and see how we were going to navigate this experience and if our online platform was going to work for everyone. So it gave us a little bit of time. And then once we reopened virtually. And we had an entire website created to our virtual dance program.
Okay. So I know that at the end of each term, you have a big production, which is usually you take out a building with a huge theater. What happened to that?
So obviously all large performances were by executive order canceled,
Right.
but we felt that we needed to do something to give the kids some sort of ending to their season. And it took a little while to figure out exactly what platform was going to work for us. So we had decided to do two different experiences. The first was called our virtual experience. So we gave all of our students a virtual background that they were able to have a little theater on their screen, and they were able to come pick up a goodie bag that we prepared for them. The goodie bag had a ticket attached to it with the date of their performance, and inside were all kinds of goodies. There was magic glitter for their performance. There was little confetti cannons, all things for them to do at home. And then we gave their parents a little guide to make it the best possible experience for them. So parents were great. They had set up backdrops in their backyards, in their living rooms, balloons. The kids they all had their costumes. Our students were all able to pick up their costumes in February before this even happened. So thankfully everybody had what they needed. They came and did a drive-by. It was a lot of fun. We sat outside and they came and they picked things up. We had balloons going. And so we had virtual week where during their regular scheduled class, each class had their virtual performance, and we had an MC on Zoom. And then at the end of their performance, their parents would shoot off their little confetti cannons at home and take lots of pictures, and it was great. Then we went one step further for anyone who wanted to participate in person. We had our red carpet recital experience. So this was a lot of work. It took about 2.5 weeks. We did each location separately, and this was one dancer at a time. So you signed up for a 10-minute time slot. We decorated the whole studio. There was a red carpet outside, and we had the step and repeat, and we had photographer. Every student came in. They were allowed 3 family members. We had every student got a rose, every student got their photo taken, their parents were escorted into an entire studio reformed into a theater. We did special flooring, we did pipe and drape, we had uplight spotlights, and they had 3 seats. They came, they performed. They then were escorted to an awards room where then we had live confetti cannons shooting off for them. They got a trophy, they got a candy bag, and then they were sent on their way. And this started at about 9 a.m. and went till about 9 or 10 p.m. for 2.5 weeks straight.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but you know what? We needed it, they needed it. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that your particular business does is encourage a lot of things, actually. You know, physical fitness, good spirits, proper decorum, and also the pomp and glitter that comes along with these shows. And you continuing it both virtually as well as in person was amazing. And
Thank you.
I'm assuming that the impact to your customer base has at least remained stable, if not increased. How is it going?
Well, pre-pandemic, there was always an increase. Thank God, we've been blessed. But we've definitely seen a difference during the pandemic. I think parents are hesitant for several reasons. I think health and safety is one concern, where we've done a lot of work to ensure that we can provide the safest possible environment for our students, staff, and families. So, and all of that has been listed on my website. We've done videos and a lot of literature for people to see what we've done. But I had the pleasure of meeting with about 40 dance studio owners from Long Island last week. We met in Eisenhower Park to discuss where we're all at and how things are going. And everybody has basically had the same experience. We've definitely seen somewhat of a decrease. It just started to build again. People have been, I think, growing a little bit more confident in what's ahead. I think people are just, they don't know, like, are we going to shut down? Are we going to be able to continue? What does it look like for them? So I think people were on pause, but as we approach the end of the season, I foresee a good January enrollment as well.
So you have 3 locations and you must have considerable number of employees. When you took the pause, which you said was only 2 weeks, did you need to take any kind of assistance from the government uh, due to this pandemic?
We did. We immediately had a lot of people drop off right away.
Okay.
We had we had some stick it out, but a lot panicked immediately.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were given refunds left and right.
Okay. Well, that's, very good to know because a lot of businesses did not. Um, so were you able to take advantage of the PPP?
We were.
Okay. And so the bank that you dealt with was able to um, assist you to receive that very relatively quickly.
Not quickly, no. We were among those first rounders that a lot of the major corporations gobbled up all of those funds.
Okay.
So we had to really do our work to find it. Um, but as you can imagine, having the amount of employees I have and the line of business I have, it blew through very quickly.
Right.
It didn't last very long at all. And if they don't do something again for a lot of the businesses like mine and other small businesses, and we get shut down again, I'm not sure that New York can
Yeah.
withstand it.
Right. Um, so you've introduced numerous things to enhance your classes so that your customers and their parents feel safe. How much money do you think that you invested to create this situation?
A fortune. One location alone, over $20,000 because I completely ripped out the heating and cooling system because we wanted to put a brand new one in, I'm sorry, that was highly efficient, bringing outside fresh air into the building and um, basically giving us as close to hospital grade air as we could possibly get. So that took a lot. In all of our locations, we put in blue light technology, we put in air purification systems, switched out all of the filtration in all of the locations, all of the sanitizing stations, the products, the machinery just to use the sanitizers, a lot, having the proper equipment and PPE for our employees on a regular basis, Hand sanitizing stations were installed everywhere throughout the studios. We spent a lot of money, a lot of money.
So your class size, I mean, definitely in the popular classes and in were we're to the max usually. Have you reevaluated the number of children that you put in a class now?
Completely. We measured out the studios, and every dancer has a 6 by 6 square with a few inches in between each square
Hmm.
so that they can socially distance. And they're required to wear a mask anyway. So where we used to maybe be able to have 19 or 20 in a class, that same class can now only have about 12. And some classes can only have 6, depending on room size.
Right. Okay, so because the number of children, because of the space issues have you increased the number of classes that you're offering? So let's say you're 2 to 4.
Yes and no. It depended on
Mhm.
really what age group we were seeing an increase and what age group we saw a decline.
Mhm.
So we were able to play with that. One of the other things that has become really popular, we teach pod classes on offsite properties. So people have reached out to us and created their own group of anywhere from 6 to 10 students, and we go teach in their yard or their garage or their tent. So we've been able to sort of manage those numbers by doing that.
Interesting. Okay. And what would you say is since you have 3 locations, which one do you feel has been impacted the worst?
My original location.
Okay. And that's because it's in Queens and it's more congested?
I don't know. They're both in Queens. My first 2 locations are only 2 miles apart from each other.
Okay.
We haven't really been able to figure out why there's a bit of a difference. Um, I think we may have had some older students in that location, and I've noticed in speaking with the parents through the pandemic, it has been really hard to get a lot of the kids, in our experience, motivated to commit to anything. I even had a conversation with a parent the other night whose child is an A student, and the child is struggling at the moment with grades and committing to getting the work done. And we've just seen a lot of the kids have become more of hangout mode, couch potato, not really wanting to, everybody, I think everyone in New York, right? We're all so fast paced,
Yeah.
and we're also oversubscribed. We're doing piano and music, and the kids are so busy, and then all of a sudden there was absolutely nothing. And so I think it's hard to get them a little bit motivated. And aside from that, even for the kids who are still willing to um, be involved, I think they're so overwhelmed and still trying to get themselves comfortable with virtual learning, the hybrid learning, school. Like these poor kids, everything is so all over the place for them that I just think that to acclimate into our new normal is just taking a little bit more time than what we would like.
Right. No, that's true. And in your younger group, which is the toddlers, let's say, have you felt that there has been a decline in enrollment with that?
Increase.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
Yeah,
great. Yeah.
increase. Yeah.
Okay.
They are quite popular. They are great about wearing their masks. They just know that's what they're supposed to do. They're super excited to be in the studio. We used to use props for the little kids. So, as part of the enrollment, we gave out complimentary prop bags to every student. So, inside there were a bunch of goodies that they got to bring home with them, and they bring back and forth with them every week. But we definitely saw an increase in the little ones.
That's amazing. Well, you're so good at making them feel like a princess. Now you've rolled out another business related to that, which is the Enchanted Parties.
Correct. We opened Enchanted Parties about 8 years ago.
And how is that doing now?
Um, so that one, we've been so busy keeping the dance studios on target, and there was so much work involved there that we let Enchanted take a back seat to what we were doing. So we did a few virtual parties. We actually partnered up with some professional princesses from Disneyland in California.
Wow.
And yeah, that was actually great. We used that at the studio as well. We had for our communities, we had Saturday mornings with a princess. So that was for anybody who wanted to participate. It was a free Zoom princess party on Saturday mornings. So we did a few virtual parties where we sent out some care packages, parents could pick them up, and they would have Zoom parties at home with their friends, each at their own homes. So those were cute. We did a few of those. We just started to do a few in studio, in Enchanted Parties, but with the governor's new order, we put it on pause again.
Okay. Yes. So one of the things that I've seen in some businesses, or at least in schools, and I have to relate your business with the school system, is that a lot of teachers that became afraid and decided to retire. Do you find that you have a turnover in your um, employees because of this pandemic?
No, the only issue we had, so we employ a lot of young adults out of college here in New York to live their dream, dance on Broadway. A few of them did have to move back out of state. They couldn't afford to stay in New York. So a few of them had to relocate back to Michigan and wherever they came from, Texas. So we did have to replace a few of those teachers, but no, the rest of our staff, thankfully, have been able to stay on, and we're super excited to still have a job.
What do you think would be the best thing to support small businesses like you? And do you have a wish that uh, would be offered by the government? I mean, you've been in business for over 30 years, so you really know what it takes to be successful. You've adjusted with, the
Well,
time.
I honestly think, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately because, when the orders came out and you have to check your state website to see what category you fall into, I think that not every rule can apply evenly to every business. For example, this 10-person gathering. So you can have 10 people in your home if you have a 2-room apartment, but you can have only 10 people in your home if you have a 20-room home, out on the east end of Long Island. It makes absolutely no sense to me that the gathering limits are just black and white. So I think that the government needs to also take a look at that. I think they need to take a look at what's going on, right? Where are you? Like, my type of business is not a retail business. I don't have anybody walking in off the street to come in and buy something from my store. Anyway, it's a membership-based business. So I know who's coming. I can trace, I can contact. I've put all my safety measures in place, yet I can easily be locked down the same as someone else. I don't think anybody should be locked down at this point, personally. I think that it might not be a terrible idea to close the schools just to see if that'll make a difference. But I'm not an expert there, so I don't know. But, there were so many things going on, and so many people felt the same way. You're in Target, and there's 100 people standing online to buy something in Target, yet 5 people can't be inside a 4,000 square foot facility following the law. So I think they need to get a clearer picture of who they're shutting down
Right.
and then maybe geographically have it supervised by the building departments, the fire marshals, and really pay attention.
Right. It's a good point. You know, I'm sure that they're looking to revise this or enhance it as we go through this next wave, which is supposedly happening. Um, so going forward, are you still going to continue doing this grand event like you do at the end of the season with the costumes and everything to enhance the
Yeah.
classes?
So our plan is to continue. We have booked an outdoor amphitheater for this spring. It's a covered outdoor amphitheater, open on both sides, covered stage. But we also booked our indoor theaters because, you know, we have no idea what lies ahead. This could be gone in March, and we can all be okay. No, regardless, I will, just like I did last year, if I have to go one by one again, I can do that. But I also think as a state, we all know a lot more. I think we all know, right? We all went through this without a manuscript. We just kind of did what our hearts and our minds told us. We looked at the science, we listened to the law. So I think we did a great job. I think other businesses did amazing work. I think we're all able to do even better work now that we've had some time to digest this new normal, right? Same passion, new normal. That's kind of what we're rolling with. So if I have to pop up a stage in my parking lot and cover it and put seats outdoors and go one class at a time, then I will do that. But my plan is the show must go on.
I love it. I love it. So going forward, once we get through this pandemic, which we will, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel, what what have you learned and feel that is really necessary and should stay in place?
So many things. We are so much cleaner in New York. The thought that they had not cleaned those subway cars
Right.
on a daily basis is mind blowing. The thought that we would go into a supermarket and just automatically touch wagons that were touched by so many all day long. Um, I think that was the biggest one for me, the cleanliness and the sanitizing of so many things. I think we're so much more aware. Airplanes, just you know, the volume of people that are put into places. There's no need for, bars to be 100 people deep, and have people right on top of each other. I'd have to sit down and really reflect on everything, but I've learned that we are more resilient. I think that we've all learned to be a lot more patient.
Mhm.
I hope that as New Yorkers, we don't run back to the overwhelming, fast-paced life that we were in, but I hope that we can all remain kinder, cleaner, safer, more mindful, checking in on our neighbors, making sure that um, as a community, we come together, learning to support the small businesses rather than those big box companies. And I don't have anything against the big box companies, but so many of the small businesses were really hit that I hope people can remember that. And yeah, I think that's where we are.
Well, I want to thank you for joining me today, and I hope that you'll come on the show again.
Thank you for having me. This is great, and I appreciate you really looking out for all of us and what's ahead.
Thank you.